there are two foundations to strong relationships within a business, and those deal with communication styles. The heart of a successful organization lies within these styles. There are 4 overall, and they all have to deal with feedback and disclosure. And you'll see how I'll diagram that for you guys. Feedback, as we've learned, is pretty much the response you get from your audience, whether it's one person or a room of people. And disclosure is sharing of information, whether someone asked or if they didn't ask. So, for example, the guy at the Metro that tells you about his kids without you even knowing who he is, just randomly wants to talk. So, 4 overall styles of communication. The first one is the closed style. And the closed style is a person who's comfortable working by themselves in a room, typically software designers, typically somebody that is restocking shelves, somebody that likes to keep to themselves. A good thing for these guys is they get the task done. They typically get it done on time. They're orderly, not too much trouble when they're in a confined area. Now, the cons for it, they may not interact very well with customers. I used to work at Best Buy, so as a salesperson, I was very talkative, I was very social. But when you had to send someone over to the Geek Squad, which were the technicians, to fix a computer, a lot of the times the sales that I would make would sometimes go sour because the guys that would work there aren't used to interacting with people on a day-to-day basis. This was 2 years ago, so I'm not sure how things are then, but you know, you get the idea. They're used to staring at a screen all day. Somebody with concerns comes up to them. They don't know how to handle someone's problems, how to deal with someone who's stressed out, how to be, kind, that type of thing. Now, in a managerial aspect, these managers can typically be task-oriented as well. They may care more about how much stock they have in a store as to how happy the employee is at the time. They may be, they rarely will disclose any information. They won't come up to you to say hello. They won't interact in that way. Not to say they're not friendly, they're just guarded. This diagram that you see here kind of shows you how each person lies. So, a closed person lies here, somewhere in this side of the graph. They don't need feedback, they don't need disclosure. They're not going to tell you about their kids and their wife or their family out of the blue. They're not really expecting you to give them feedback when they make a comment. When they just say hello as they're walking by, they don't expect a conversation after that. Second style is the blind style. This is a person who wants to show their skills. So whenever you walk into a new company, you're presented to someone who's going to train you. Usually the blind style is this person. They don't care much for feedback, but they disclose a lot. They'll talk, they'll show you this is how you tie your shoe, but when it comes time for you to respond back, they don't care. The best way I kind of thought of this as an example was a trainer at a gym. If you go to a physical trainer, they're going to make sure they do the regimen that they put for you, and they're going to show you how they do it. But when it comes time for feedback, saying, hey, I feel this, I feel that, they may not agree, they may not even care about it. A lot of the times people think of these guys as jocks, in high school, for example. Now, the pros to these guys, they can train a group efficiently. So from day one, you'll know what you're doing. But the downside to them is when it comes to say something back, they may not care. On the chart, these guys fall right here. A little different size for you. So they'll disclose a lot, but they won't care for your feedback. Not to say 100% of the time this is how they'll act, but in most cases, that's how they'll fall into their category. The third style we got is the hidden style. This tends to be a social person who's more interested in you than they are about themselves. So, good listeners, they're well liked around the office. They tend to ask every day, say hello, good morning, how are you, how's everything going? But when it comes to them, they don't really divulge any information. They tend to agree with everybody. Conflicts are avoided. Their opinions aren't out there for you to interact with. So for example, a manager that's always telling you, hey, you're the best, you're great at this, you're great at that, you tends to give sometimes a negative effect on an employee, because the moment you start building them up, money becomes a part of it. Hey, okay, you think so much of me as this, as such a high person always praising me, but they're not paying me. That's because they won't give you negative feedback in terms of your performances. They don't want a conflict. So in the chart, you'll see that these guys are here. They won't disclose, they want their feedback. So they won't say anything bad about you, nothing negative, but they don't mind sharing a conversation with you. They don't mind spending time talking about your day, your life, your personal and your professional life. And the last style is the open style. The open style is a person who is very social, how it sounds like. They're open to talking to anybody, whether it's feedback, whether it's disclosing how their family is. They don't care. Typically, they're very open. They want to talk. Friendly people. They may be off-putting. So again, go back to the guy at the metro. Sit down next to somebody, they start talking to you about their family, and you haven't even said hello to them. So it's something that can be off-putting. Think of a new employee at a new business. If they start sharing, hey, I don't think this way, if it's their first day and they start saying, hey, I don't think this works like this or this works like that, they're disclosing their feelings, but in the new employee atmosphere, they may push themselves away from the new employee, from the current employees. So managers who are open, they can have better relationships with their employees. They give their employees more empowerment. So things tend to be fluid situations in the workspace, but at the same time, they can be thought of as pushovers in a sense. If they agree with everything you say, if they feel like they can give you more to do, at the same time, they will try to take more. On the chart from the book, these guys are here. So you can see that you get a lot of feedback, you get a lot of disclosure. It's even, but at the same time, it can lead towards feelings that weren't meant to be there, pushovers in the office. So that's what I got from my section in chapter 3.